today we're unboxing and setting up a racing wheel and pedal. So this particular one's from Logitech and it's the G923. Details are in the description below, including purchasing links. So a big thank you to Logitech for sponsoring this video, and they've also kindly sponsored a giveaway as well. So we've got a massive giveaway where we're giving away the Xbox version and the PlayStation version of this wheel. So details on that will be later on in the video, so do hang around for that. So this is the successor to the G920. I already reviewed that a number of years ago. I'll include a card in the corner if you want to check that review out. Now this wheel comes in two variants. The one I have here is for the Xbox and PC, but there's also a version for PlayStation and PC as well. So if you want to see the PlayStation version, I'll include a card for that as well. So let's take a brief look around the packaging. Trueforce featuring Trueforce HD Force Feedback. So that's one of the key features on the wheel. Looking on the corner, it says designed for Xbox. Coming around the side, more details on their Trueforce. So they say it's a next-gen realism. They also say real-time racing, so Trueforce integrates directly with game engines to unlock high-definition real-time force feedback. Looking at the back, it highlights the fact that the wheel is compatible with an Xbox One, but it does work with the next-gen consoles, and that's the key thing we're going to be showing here. So it can work with the Xbox Series S and the Series X as well, and also compatible with a PC. More details again regarding their Trueforce technology, dual clutch launch control, race-proven spec, complete control, get the racing control and the data you need from the 24-point selector. Coming around this side, shows a picture of the wheel, details on all the controls on there, and in the corner it just highlights again, it's for Xbox Series X, S, Xbox One and Windows 10. So let's open it up and see what you get in the packaging. You get a piece of paper, instructions on how to set this up. A piece of paper which is multi-language with a warning that the pedals have a pinch point on there, so just be careful with your fingers and even bare toes. You get a power cable, you can see the connector on there, and a power adapter with that DC connector to plug into the wheel. You get a G sticker, you get a G booklet just showing some other products and their social media details. A safety, compliance and warranty information document which is multi-language. Details on their play seat, so if I open that up, just shows you sim cockpits that you can use to further enhance the whole racing experience. Next up we have the pedals. So the construction of this is strong plastic all the way round. Literally identical in design to how the previous one was with the G920. You've got the G logo here, cable coming out the back, and the connection on here looks like a serial connection. Build construction of the cable seems fine. The three pedals you have here have varying degrees of pressure on there. So the clutch here has a certain amount of pressure on there, and then the brake has even more pressure on there. And then finally the accelerator, and that just goes down smooth, just as it would on a normal car. Flipping it over, you can see some rubber pads, 2 at the top, 4 around here and 2 at the bottom. And that comes into use when you've got it on a wooden surface, so it reduces the amount of slip you can get on there when you're pushing the pedals down. And then you've got 3 bolting points and 3 over here, and that's for mounting it onto a sim frame. So that's probably one of the best ways of having this, so it has minimal movement in there. I sometimes find when I've got it on a wooden floor and you're pushing down, there is a slight amount of movement. Now looking at the top here, you've got the grips here for your carpet. If I push this up, grips come into effect, and then as soon as you put it onto a carpet, it just locks into position. And now finally onto the wheel. So first of all, you've got an aluminium center marker here. The wheel itself is all perforated black leather. You've got steel paddle shifts at the back here. Has a really good build quality to it. You've got LED rev counter here. The buttons are similar to what you'd get on a Xbox controller here. So you can see by the Y, X, A and B. The wheel area around here and here is all brushed aluminium. Then you've got some action buttons. And slightly different from the G920, you've got the 24-point selector over here and another selector there. And then finally, you've got the Xbox button here and an LED indicator. Looking at the side, highlights there, Trueforce functionality. Same on the other side. Looking at the back, you've got the G logo, you've got some vents over here. And looking at it straight on, you've got some vents at the back here too. Then you've got the 2 clamp adjusters. Now, occasionally I get comments on the video, people struggling to take these out. It's just a matter of wiggling it slightly, and it just pops out. So if you just turn it, it just pops out. And these are used for adjusting the clamps. Looking at the side, you can see the clamps close at the moment, so it's just a matter of just turning it. Now measuring the gap here, you get about 3 centimeters. And if you had a thicker cable, you can remove the plastic that's just over here. So if I get a screwdriver, twist slightly, just pops off. And looking at the gap now, you get about 5 centimeters. So you had a really thick cable, it should easily be able to clamp it onto there. When you're placing this back on, the ridge here goes towards the back. There you go. And the same thing is applicable on the other side. Taking a look underneath, so you've got their cable management over here, and if I take that off, the end of this is a USB type A connector. Now, interestingly enough, the PlayStation version doesn't have this connector on there. And I did ask people what this was about in the G920 video. Some people said it's a snap point, so if you've accidentally tripped over the cable, it will just come apart. So not sure how true that is, but drop me a comment if you know anything different from that. Now, putting this back on again, looking here at the connectors, so you've got the connector for the shifter, then coming along you've got the point where you'd plug in your pedals, and then the power connection point, which is the DC connection. So if you had excess cable, you just wrap it around the cable management here, and then you just feed it through the channels just over here. So what's cool about this, once you've clamped it down, the cables are nice and tidy through the channels there. You also got 2 bolt points there. So if you had a sim racing chair and it had holes in the mount points, you can actually bolt it directly on so it's more firmly secured. So build wise, very similar. They've gone for the same sort of design still in all this. They haven't changed the casing or anything. The only significant change here is the 24-point selector here and the buttons just over here. Lots of cables to connect up, so let me briefly show what to do. So the cable with the plug on there, the connector goes into the power adapter, and then the DC connection point plugs directly into the wheel. Then you can feed it around the cable management and then get it going through the channel there. You can feed it around extra bits, so you've got extra cable left. If you want to keep it nice and tidy, just use that cable management to wrap it around. Next, we'll do the pedals. So you plug it in like so. The same thing again, just wrap it around any extra you need and then just feed it through the channel. And next you can connect the shifter if you own one. So the package doesn't come with the shifter. You've got to buy that separately. And the connector on there plugs into the point there. So directly in here. And then again, around the cable management, nice and tidy. And there you go. Final cable is the USB cable coming off the wheel. And we'll just put that in the cable management. And there you go, nice and flush on here now. And it's ready to be connected up. So you just connect that into your console and plug the power in. There's a number of ways you can install the wheel. So here I've got it installed on my desk, and my desk is actually a kitchen worktop, so it's really thick. See for yourself, it's easily fitted on, and I've had to remove the tabs on the clips at the bottom of the wheel. And if I come down, you can see the pedals just there. So that's probably the most common way of getting it set up. You could probably do it on a coffee table as well, but it may be a bit too low to play with. We're going to be testing out the wheel on a frame like this. So it's worth investing in something like this at some point just to get a bit more stability. So you can get different types, and the key thing with all these frames is they have holes in certain positions, and you can see some over there and some on the bottom, and they're for the bolting points that are on the devices. So it's quite good. You can actually bolt it on if you want it. I'm just going to clamp it on for now just to quickly get it up and running. Everything's connected up now, so the power's plugged in at the side there. Next, we just need to plug in the USB cable into our Xbox. It's going to be plugged in at the front USB port. There you go, with it plugged in, first thing that happens is the wheel starts calibrating. Give it a moment, and then the Xbox turns on. And now looking at the controls on the wheel, you can see works exactly like an Xbox controller. So you've got the buttons for selecting things and obviously the navigation on here as well. And now for the giveaway. Logitech has kindly offered to give away 2 of their G923 racing wheels, one for the Xbox with the Logitech G935 headset and the other for the PlayStation with the Logitech G733 headset. To enter the giveaway, all you have to do is leave a positive comment stating which wheel you want on this video with the hashtag #KeepPlaying and hashtag #PlayAdvance. The giveaway is open to UK mainland only and ends on 30th April at 11:59 p.m. 2 winners will be selected at random in May, so keep a lookout for a direct reply to your comment in May. All terms and conditions are in the description of the video, and good luck. Now I've started up Project Cars 3, and if I go over to settings, just want to show the options you have available. So in wheel and force feedback, you've got Logitech Trueforce enabled, and you can flip between turning it on and off with this. And then you've got Logitech Trueforce audio effects, that can be reduced as well. So these are the things that enhance the whole Trueforce experience on here. So let's jump into a game and see how it performs. So the view can be adjusted in most games, like so. Let's put it into gear, clutch down and come on the accelerator. You can see there, I'm not going to change gear. Clutch down, change gear. Works perfectly. So excellent that you can get the shifter working on here. That's the first thing. Next thing is the pedals. So the feel of the pedals is good. Now, very similar to how the previous generation's pedals worked. The probably key difference is the brake width here. So they've actually changed the mechanism behind here to give it a more realistic feel to it. So when you do press down, you get a nice amount of tension. It does feel like how a brake would feel on a real car. Responsiveness is good as well with all the pedals. The accelerator has a nice smooth feel to it. Moving on to the wheel, obviously you've got your center marker, you've got the rev counter here, that's not lighting up. That's more to do with the games you're playing. Some games may not have it enabled, hence why you don't see it. Then you've got your paddle shifts, they have a good feel to that as well. If you press B on the controller, you've got handbrakes. If I speed up, there you go, handbrake turn. Now you're probably wondering, is it worth actually playing games with a racing wheel? 100% it is worth it. Reason being, you just don't get the same immersion when you're playing off a controller. With the wheel itself, you've actually got the force feedback going on, you've got the feel of the terrain you're driving on, and obviously when you do bump into anything like so, you get the feedback coming back on the wheel. And if I speed up again, you can see the wheel pulling. So it's not loose in any way, you do get force feedback coming off there. Pedals have that extra feel as well, not like just holding onto a trigger. Pressing the pedals obviously gives that realism as well. So really impressive experience, and in terms of difference between the old one, obviously I'm feeling that hum coming off the wheel. So that's where the Trueforce comes into effect. Very subtle hum of the engine, the terrain you're on. And does it feel good? Definitely feels good. Any sort of feedback coming back from the wheel itself and the motors you gain, obviously is going to give you that realism in your whole racing experience. You're probably wondering, what is Trueforce? It's best described as a sensation you'd get from the wheel while you're driving. You still feel the force feedback from the wheel and bumps if you knocked into anything, but with Trueforce, you get the added benefit of feeling the hum of an engine, tyre traction, and even the terrain of the track. Games that support Trueforce allow you to customize the settings so you can increase or decrease the sensation you get as you're driving. What about playing older games that don't support Trueforce? The simple answer is you'll feel nothing in addition. It's just like having the previous version of the wheel. So in this case, the G923. And that's really not a surprise, as the game has to be programmed to tell the wheel how to behave. I'm going to attempt to show you Trueforce, as you can't touch my wheel, so the best way would be via sounds from the base wheel and the motion you're getting. So let's take a closer look at this Trueforce. Now here I'm playing Assetto Corsa, which is a game that does support Trueforce. I've turned off all the Trueforce functionality. Now listen to the drive motor. Now let's listen with Trueforce enabled. Can you hear that? That's Trueforce in action. The motor's working away to give you that sensation that you're actually driving. Moving on to the shifter, do you have to buy this? And the simple answer is no, as you have paddle shifts on the wheel. and generally you can alternate between using manual shifting and automatic shifting as part of the settings on most games. Even the clutch can be adjusted, so it's automatic clutch and you don't even have to press down on the clutch. The shifter is a standard H pattern shifter where you get 6 gears, and the 6th gear doubles up as a reverse gear where you push down and then put into gear. It isn't bad, the only thing lacking is the biting point. As you come off the clutch, there's no sensation of that, which is a bit of a shame really. Now with regards to games, there's a very limited number of games that fully support Trueforce, and that's only because the wheel came out towards the end of last quarter of 2020. But obviously new games will be coming out that will fully utilize the Trueforce functionality, and personally I'm looking forward to the new Forza Horizon 5 coming out. So in summary, if you've been playing racing games on a controller over the years, this is an awesome upgrade. It adds a more immersive and realistic feel to the whole racing experience, which you really can't get from a controller. The Trueforce side of things is an interesting one. Pretty cool how subtle it is, but just adds to the realism of the whole racing experience. In terms of negatives, it's not cheap. It comes in at £349 in the UK, and not all games support Trueforce. But slowly companies are upgrading their games to add in this support, and most new games will support Trueforce. So I hope this video has helped anyone thinking of getting the Logitech G923 for Xbox. A great racing wheel. Details are in the description below, including purchasing links. Hang around for the end cards, as there'll be a playlist with more gaming related videos. Drop me a like, as it really does help the channel out. Good luck in the competition. Thanks for viewing, and see you in the next one.
He's not quitting, Anna!
Neither are we.
Yeah? Speak for yourself. I'm out.
What the hell? Richie! Richie! Did he seriously just bail?
Got him in my sights, heading north to the city. You picked the wrong night to go racing.
Be advised. We've sealed off the north exit. Roadblock ahead of you. Take a right.
Is the capital of the monster truck world.